Hey guys, welcome back. It is time to take another look on Reddit. I got some threads open here. We're going to take a look and see if Reddit provides sound advice on the questions. Usually they're very new to Pokemon type questions that are being asked, but we'll see. We got a little bit of a mixture here. Some of them aren't really questions, but I figured they were kind of neat to include. But let's get going here. We have this first post by QEGQRRRRTQ. So I'm going to assume that they just made a burner account to ask this one question. Hopefully they don't use that for everything. Their username for everything. But they're asking, anyone know where to find the last piece? So these are part of the Topps cards, one of the top sets here. It would be useful to see the other side of it to know which one is missing. But there are people with more expertise in the Topps world than I have when it comes to even like the print numbers, the edition, or the I don't know what you would call it exactly, the print run. You can figure all that stuff out. There are people that like the Topps cards more than I do. Personally, they're not really for me. They just always bring me back to, and as a child, these were the we have Pokemon cards at home type thing. This was like the option for Pokemon cards when they didn't have the real Pokemon cards, and that's usually when we ended up with a pack of these. Not really my thing. Some people really like them though. That's up to you. If you like them, do what you got to do. Don't let me tell you what to collect or not collect. We have the top one here that says you're missing a TV7 Professor Oak from the Topps TV Animation Edition series. So if I'm sure if you did look this up, you'd be able to find which components were which, and then you'd be able to confirm. eBay is going to be the best place to purchase something like this in terms of finding the last piece. Or I'm not sure if they needed to know what the last piece was, and basically where they could find it. I don't know if anyone provided information on where to find it, but if you looked up your TV7 Professor Oak Topps, you probably don't want to get too specific with the different designations there, because even just like TV7 Topps will probably bring up listings for that one particular card that you're missing. I'm sure other people sell them in sets as well, but yeah, this is we got more people here that are talking about whether it's Topps, what's going on exactly. Here they're suggesting they're missing TV7 or 5, so it seems like it is TV7. One is Misty Staryu, one is Prof Oak. Yeah, so one of them was missing. Again, if you showed the other side, this person probably would have been able to tell them exactly what they were missing. Puzzle pieces. What are you going to do, right? All right, that solves that. If you're ever missing something like that, I'm not sure on the front. I don't think there's any like chronological order to the front side of these, but if there is, that would be where you're going to look. And when in doubt, there's pictures online. I'm sure if you searched as well, there would be a full guide. Next, we have Snecky Glecky, who says, why is this special delivery Bidoof so expensive? I'm going to give you the answer for that. It was a weird release. I got all kinds of spam email from the Pokemon company to multiple emails of mine, and I didn't get a code. So they didn't give out codes to everyone. You had to be signed up, I think, for the newsletter, spam letter, whatever you want to call it, prior to them releasing this. And it was just like a limited thing. It was a weird limited thing. It seemed like a troll. It was like part of that like Bidoof nonsense. People didn't know how you were going to get it to begin with, so they were buying stupid Bidoof items. Sorry, Billy. The hat, there was like a playmat and other stuff on there. But yeah, this was like when everyone was waiting for special delivery Charizard. This was kind of like it was almost like an April Fool's Day kind of joke. I guess it wasn't a joke because they actually sent the card, but yeah, it's weird, and it's it's one of the, I guess, 3 special delivery promos. So if people are collecting special delivery promos, they need this one. This is probably not probably. It's definitely the most scarce out of the 3. The Pikachu did sell out, but that was mostly just a make a purchase and you get one. So the Pikachu initially was not worth very much, but when they sold out, people realized, hey, maybe I wanted one of these, and didn't buy one at the time. So this one being even more exclusive, I've seen people to this day, again, Billy, that has a special delivery Charizard code that is not using it. So this, where they were even more limited, a lot of steps involved. And at this point, there wouldn't really be anyone that was able to bot account, at least not that I'm aware of, bot account in order to get a billion codes for this. So we have Sans, who says, is Charizard carrying a Bidoof? What more could you ask for? Incorrect. The Bidoof is clearly carrying the Charizard on its back. Demand over supply. So here we go. The code was randomly given to email accounts already subscribed to their spam emails. No heads up. Couldn't subscribe. There's some people that said that you could subscribe afterwards, but I don't think you could. I think you had to be signed up initially. And yeah, it was a weird release. It was like a one-time thing. Signed up and never got it, etc. So even, what did they say? Because scalpers got them on the bottom. I don't know. No, I don't think it had anything to do with necessarily the scalpers getting them. I think it just, there wasn't enough of them. Even though it's a Bidoof card, it has a Charizard on it. All right. Next, we have somebody who opened, this is Rubik's 937. I don't think this is Rubik's from Billy and Rubik's Pokemon. I hope not. If not, he's not listening to my advice here. We have someone that opened an Elite Trainer box and got one black code. I am like fighting a yawn real hard right now, but we might just have to let it happen at some point. Gotta love it. So they opened an Elite Trainer box, Evolving Skies. They got one black code. They got one V. I don't know how many times I need to tell this to people. I don't know why people can't understand it. With sets that don't have a trainer gallery, with these Sword and Shield sets that don't have a trainer gallery, you have a 1 in 6 chance of getting a V or better. So this kind of played exactly out how you would expect it. I mean, you kind of expect more than one black code because on average you probably have at least another hollow or something like that. A hollow is probably hollow or better is probably 1 in 3 packs. So maybe you'd have a couple hollows, 1 or 2 hollows that would go with that. But at the end of the day, like, it's 1 in 6. It could be better or worse. If you get 2 Vs or better, you're doing better than average on what the pull rates are. That's how it works. I don't understand how people don't understand that. 1 in 6. You got 8 packs. Odds are you're only going to get 1 V or better. Then we have everyone that just like, based on one ETB, they're going to confirm their doubts. All right, we got the yawn out. Gotta love this sub. Every time I consider picking up an Evolving Skies booster box or ETB, I see a post like this. Thanks for your sacrifice up. So people are like, yeah, that one was bad. I have a bad experience with my ETB that I opened at one point in time. The ETBs can be good or bad. It's just like I had a Fusion Strike one on Fusion Strike release day, and one of the first packs that I opened was the Espeon Alt Art. Is that going to happen all the time? No. Did I have other bad Fusion Strike ETBs and booster boxes? Yes. It's all part. There's no advantage or disadvantage. When you open a small amount of packs, you can either get shafted or you can look like an absolute hero. If they pull 2 alt arts out of it, everyone in the comment section here would be 69ing each other and buying them, thinking that they can do the same thing, that they're some kind of secret hack in order to like get all these hits. We have Bob the God 54, who says current binder, would like opinions. So I'm not sure exactly. Charizard VMAX Alt misprint on the top. Oh, yeah, so it's not really a misprint, and like people will give you grief for this, but it's a crimp. If you wanted to trade the crimp for a non-crimp one, you probably could. There's probably some crimp collector out there that would trade you for a clean copy. It's kind of a shame because the centering looks pretty decent on it. But yeah. So Charizards, we got some alt arts on the front here. I love these Evolution boxes promos. Metacham is underrated as well, in my opinion. I think he's pretty cool. Jumping across there. We got all kinds of Pokemon in the background. Super bonus points for that. So we got a little bit of a Charizard baller kind of scenario going on here. Probably would be more of them on the first page if he had more of them. But we got some rare cards here. We got some stuff that's pretty hard to pull. Clearly opened some packs. That Tina V-Star is probably worth, if you're going just in terms of order of like value, or maybe you're going in terms of your favorites. I mean, it's your binder, right? So as long as you like it, if it's organized the way that you want, that's the most important part. It's good that you're using a ringless binder. You get the penny sleeves. You can double sleeve them if you want, but this should be just fine. Make sure you store it somewhere that is both dry and, you know, it's not going to get dirty, dusty, whatever. Well ventilated, I guess, area. Okay, we got some cool older stuff here. Lugia EX, Darkrai EX. So we get a little bit of all over the place. But again, that's just like, if that's the order that you want to put them in, it shouldn't really matter to anyone else. It's your stuff if you wanted to order them in terms of like age, type, whatever. Charizard back here. I think if I was putting together, if I was like super low budget, trying to put something together that's really cool to look at, these character rares would be the ticket. They're criminally underpriced and underrated at the moment. When you can get these, a lot of them for like $1 or $2 US on places like TCG Player and Troll and Toad and stuff like that. Maybe they're more. Maybe they're like $3. Even if they're $3, they're pretty hard to pull. Beautiful artwork, and you know, in terms of like what I think is undervalued at the moment, in terms of the most modern new stuff, it's probably these guys here, like the Charizard and the Pikachu. Clearly, they're going to be a little bit more expensive. The Gengar as well, because it's playable with the Zoroark deck. But like the Parasect is probably like $2 or less. Snorlax might be a few bucks. All right, we got some more Charizards here. So, I mean, it looks like you have enough Charizards that you can make a Charizard page if that's what you wanted to do. But by all means, really cool. Team Rocket returns. EX Moltres. Oh, we crashed. Can we get it back? We got it back. All right, we got to get back to where we were. It looks like the other pages crashed too. So we might have to refresh those bad boys as we get to them. We got some Moltres that's gonna spill over into this page here, but it depends. If you want to keep the Wansy stuff together, then by all means. Some of this stuff looks like it's pretty beat. Yeah, the Moltres here's got a nice big crease on the top of them. First edition Moltres though, like it's cool, it's awesome binder card, beautiful old card it's pretty hard to find. Especially in the first ed stuff. Still has some value to it. Still a beautiful card to look at in the binder. Still great part of a collection. And that's the thing. People need to understand that it's their collection, and what's most important is that they like the cards that are in there. Not so much, not that you shouldn't ask for the opinion of other people, but I think your opinion matters more than others in terms of what you're collecting. We'll go through the rest of the pictures here. So yeah, other than the fact that it's kind of a little bit all over the place, and it just depends. If that's how you want it to be, then by all means do it. Bro is the promo peddler. Blackstar Gang, rise up. Promos are awesome. I mean, like, even if someone was looking to collect something a little bit different, still a little bit of a challenge. Not necessarily super expensive or anything like that, but if you did like the Sword and Shield promo binder, most of them pretty inexpensive, other than like maybe your special delivery stuff and whatever. But the majority of them, couple bucks, $5, maybe some of them are like $10, depending on the product they came in, depending on the Pokemon, etc. But promo binder, nothing wrong with that. There's definitely more than promos in here, but that's it. All right, we have to refresh the page because our Reddit tabs crashed on us. All right, we have Azkiar, probably pronouncing that wrong. My apologies. But they say, had the choice today between this weirdo and a Silver Tempest ETB. Think I made the right decision. So personally, I like this Execute. It was cool. It was playable. It's the secret rare version. Is it a weirdo card? Yeah, definitely. But the thing, Silver Tempest ETB, again, you might pull the loogie out of it. Odds are you're probably not going to. So like opening product, you got to make sure you really enjoy it, and buying singles is going to be a better value almost always, especially if you're just doing like in terms of like mass opening. You're going to hit the averages of what actually comes out of the product, and the expected value of most products is going to be less than the products themselves. So don't open product to make money, and if you want a better value, if you don't really enjoy opening, or if you'd rather just be guaranteed something cool, it's a perfect example of that. So Maverick here, the top answer, definitely made the right choice. ETBs in general have been all miss for me, and I bought every single one of the Sword and Shield era boxes. Yeah, I mean, that's it. That's going straight back to the ETB theory. It's only 8 packs, so it can do bad things to you. And odds are you're not going to pull anything really expensive. You're not going to get your money back. ETBs, especially, the like price per pack is pretty rough. So if you don't actually want the ETB box and sleeves and whatever else happens to come within that, you're better off just buying some singles. All right. We have error label needing some information. PSA slabbed this as first edition. Does this hurt the value of the card? So no, it does not hurt the value. I mean, clearly it doesn't make it the value of a first edition card, but it's not to be mean or anything like that, but this to me wasn't a card that should have been sent in regardless. I don't think it depends when they send it in, spending $20 on this, depending on how many cards they sent in, what the price per card was. I don't think it's worth sending this in. If it's going to come back at 5, I mean, unless you just really, if you find the value in that and you really wanted it to be in a slab, by all means. But yeah, this is something that you can contact PSA, and they can recase it for you. Whether or not they pay for the shipping, they might tell you to include it in another order or something like that. But yeah, you'd have to reach out to them, and they can remove that, and that's a pain in the butt, because you could send it, if it's sentimental, which I hope it is if you're spending money on it like this, because clearly if grading it a 5 is probably not going to net you any additional value if you're flipping it. But yeah, hurts the value of the slab. The card is fine though. So there's this weird thing where people are like, some people want to believe in the fact that anything that's an error adds value. There's got to be a market for it. I mean, outside of like my booze news segment, like it doesn't add a whole lot of value. That might be the most value that it can add, is just the fact that you can clearly see that there was a lack of quality assurance, care and time and whatever spent initially to grade it and to make sure that it was entered correctly. And then if someone did check it later on, clearly they missed it as well. And I have like a hard time believing that any of the grading companies actually double check any of the cards. I think they just try to save time they claim that they do, but they don't actually. That's the only thing I can see, because some of the mistakes that slip by, whether it's like the wrong language mentioned, the wrong card, when you have Poker Rev autographs designated as Poker V, like just stuff like that. Like, okay, like maybe it slips by sometimes, but the odds of it slipping by multiple people, if there was a quality assurance check on all of this stuff, probably pretty slim. Am I damaging my cards using these? No, you're not. The Perfect Fit inside here, I'm a little bit particular. I think that you should go with the KMC Perfect Fits. To me, there's Ultra Pro ones, and Ultra Pro for the most part, whether it's penny sleeves or binders or whatever, I think they make really good stuff, but their Perfect Fits are not good. They're like crunchy on the outside. They make them different sizes. Like the variance in size is a little bit too much, that if they made it smaller, bigger, whatever, sometimes the depth of it, like the length of it is wrong. So then you have like part of the card sticking at the bottom. I've only bought a couple packs of those and I tossed them. They're bad. KMC, they're nice, they're stretchy. Do not use Perfect Fits if you're just going to sleeve the cards itself. It's not worth it. You have to be careful when you're putting the card into a Perfect Fit because it's tight. You don't want to shove it in there too hard and end up bending the card or anything like that. If it's just in a Perfect Fit and you drop it on the corner, like there's no protection there. If you drop a penny sleeve with a card inside it, chances are there's like a little bit of leeway that the card itself is probably not going to get damaged. But with the Perfect Fit, you're kind of dropping it right on the corner itself. And unless you're double sleeving or unless it's a case like this, here the only concern would be the fact that if there's too much space within the case itself, then you might get like a little bit of curling, especially old foils in general. If it's not held flat by the plastic case itself, then you could end up with a little bit of curling going on. That it's not good for anyone involved. So is this the best way to store them? No, probably not. But it all depends. It's hard to tell exactly. I'm not familiar with this particular case, but I would want something that holds it perfectly flat. So the card saver type products like the semi-rigids, they're pretty good for that. They don't really display as nicely. They are nice and small. Top loaders are pretty good. If you sleeve a card and put it in a top loader, there's not too much space, I guess, as long as you don't have like the really thick ones with the space in the middle. J-Dog 473, as long as you have Perfect Fits, should be good. Nope, you're good. My kids' more expensive cards are placed in a Perfect Fit sleeve and then placed in the same 4-screw recess case you have. It's been a couple of years and there have been no issues with cards getting damaged. So yeah, make sure it's in a Perfect Fit so it doesn't rub against the plastic. I mean, that's the thing with the top loaders too. We saw a collectibles guru when he's showing up to sleeve the first edition base stuff, and he's just barebacking top loaders. For the love of God, don't do that. Buy penny sleeves, then put them in the top loader or the semi-rigid. But yeah, just make sure there's not enough room that it can curl. That's basically it. Make sure you don't accidentally pinch any of the sides with the case itself when you're screwing it down. There's some, I think they're Ultra Pro magnetic cases that have like a black outside part, which is, I think, a really good option and a really great alternative to like engraving if you wanted hard plastic cases to show off. I don't think you necessarily, I mean, the screw down is probably a little bit more secure if you plan on tossing them around or something like that, but all right, last one. We got to refresh this bad boy too. We have, how did I do with this Facebook Marketplace pickup? Okay, so we have quite a few, looks like bulk VMAX, G-Max, Elemental Max. We get the Charizard from Celebration. It's pretty cool. The Tina Altar. So I think this is the case. It's like the magnetic case here, but they make a black bordered version, which in my opinion looks a lot better. It kind of like makes the card itself pop a little bit, but depends what you're going for. So everything here, couple bucks to a few bucks. Nothing spectacular. I don't know if Mew has much value anymore. It's still playable. But the fact that it came, there was like a theme deck kind of product that included Mews. There's been, I think, a couple products now that included the Ray VMAXs. So even though they were playable at the time that they came out, Mew still being playable now, I think there's some people sprinkling that into the format. The other stuff here, mostly bulky Wokies. So not a whole lot of value. I mean, when you add them all up, if you needed these cards or you wanted these cards, or you can use them to trade or sell off or whatever you're going to do with them, it's extra value. The Tina V is definitely a decent value. So that's probably close to $300, I would imagine, US. And then the Charizard's probably like $50 or something. Without looking at prices, I would imagine that's right in around where we are. So they paid $300 for all of it. Need some self-validation. So I think as long as the Giratina and the Charizard aren't damaged, I think you did really well. Would have been a good deal for just these two. If you're talking about current market price, it's hard to say long term. These could go down some more, but eventually they'll probably end up being more expensive than that. I mean, depends on like how long you're planning on holding onto them. If it's for your personal collection, I think you're fine. I think you did A-okay here, even if it was just these 2 cards. And even if you don't need these other ones, if you sell or trade them, then you're kind of getting some free tendies or making the price of these 2 even better. So we have just a Haunter. It says 300 for all of those. Is that in USD? I know here north of the border that would be insanely good price given Giratina is 400-ish. So probably talking Canadian dollarinos. Yes, you pretty much got the Tina and Zard for market value. The rest are basically free, which each are a few bucks at most, so not a huge steal unless you really like VMAX cards. Other than that, it's a standard buy, I would say. So no, I think this is better than standard. I mean, you're not paying market value. I mean, people probably shouldn't expect to be selling at market value or like what big box trading card places sell for, just because they don't have that overhead, they don't have that reach, etc. So I think it's a good deal. So even if you sold these for a couple bucks each, you're still like knocking the price of that off. Or if you just want these cards, then that's a nice little bonus. All right, that is it for today. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Hope someone out there learned something about anything. Join the Discord. See you next time. Bye.